So, welcome once again. So today we'll be diving into Pixellab. We want to see all the tools that we have in the lab, in the Pixellab actually. So please follow up as we move. So I'll be letting us know the usefulness of each of the tools in Pixel. Okay, here we are. Now when you open Pixellab interface, this is what you see. Exactly what you can see on my screen is what you will also have on your screen. Nothing different. So the first thing I would like to go through is all that we can see down here. Then after I've talked about all we can see down here, I'll now be coming down to all that you can see up here. So I'll implore every one of us to follow all the steps. Okay, so we dive into it. The first thing we can see down here, is this. Okay, so it is tagged my projects. Okay, my project. So any project you have on Pixellab, I just clicked it. You can see all of my previous work are being saved. Whichever one you want, you just click on it and it opens up. So I don't need them, so I'm going back. I just want us to know what it is. Now the next thing is these boxes that I'm moving through. Okay, now the first box there says the default screen. Okay, that's what you can see here. Okay, I would like us to know what is called, what you can see on the screen. This is your design space. All this space here, we call it the design canvas. Okay, other people can call it Pixellab canvas. All right, so the first screen here, we have the first box is the default to which already we are in. So you can see I just clicked it, it's taking me back to where we are already. So the next thing, whichever one you want to use to design, so they are all editable. Okay, you can just click on any of the fonts, anything that you see, and you edit them. I'll show us how to edit the fonts later. Okay, all right, so that's that. So you can choose any face. Most Pixellab graphic designers, just like me, we make use of this default screen, this default design canvas actually. So this is what we make use of most of the time. So all these other ones are just, I don't know, maybe some people use them, but not popularly used. So we are done with all those boxes. Now the next thing we can see down here is this A icon. You see something, an alphabet A. Okay, when you click on that, the alphabet A is called the text tool. Okay, to edit your text. Let me click outside this new text that we can see. When I click outside it, okay, it is not editable. But now when I click on the new text, after clicking on that, then you click on your text tool, which is this A icon. I just clicked on it. Now you can see it is editable. You can select out of all these things that I'm scrolling through. Okay, you can edit them. The first thing is edit. Edit is to change what is written on the text tool. Okay, let me click on that. You can see we have new text. I can decide to change my new text to whatever thing I want. Let's say the boy. Okay, when you're done editing it, you click on the OK. That's that. Okay, so the next thing we have there is delete. When you click on delete, you see it's deleted. Now I would like us to know something that is up here. When you delete something, okay, when you delete a particular text or anything, when you click on this is an undo icon. Okay, you can click that to undo what you've done, okay, to get what you lost. Okay, there's no redo in Pixellab, rather it helps to undo your mistake. Maybe mistakenly you did something wrong, then you can undo that thing. Maybe you mistakenly deleted what you don't want to delete. Okay, now I'm clicking on that, so we have our text back. So that's I already explained what the undo and the delete icon is all about. The next thing we have here is copy. Okay, if I click on it now, I'll be clicking on it. You can see our text was being copied. Okay, it is copied. I don't need two tests on my screen, so I'm deleting. All right, so I touch the boy again to edit it. That's okay. If you not touch it, you won't be able to edit it because it is called text tool. Rather, they will give you two options, either to add new text or to add a quote. Pixellab usually come with an input quote. Okay, you can either click here or you click this. They are the same icon. Okay, they are the same icon to add quotes. Let me explain what that is. When you click on it, either the one below or the one above, you can see icon quotes, okay, in different languages, and also depending on what you want. Is it motivation? Is it on success? Is it on positivity? Let's click on positivity. You see quotes on positivities. Now you can select whichever one you want. Let's say I just select this and it comes in. So that's what that is for. Now moving forward, that is selected. Now let's touch our boy back. Now we were at copy. We've done talked about copy. Now the front and back tool, I would like to explain that, okay, still with this our test. Okay, now depending on what you have on your screen, I think I'll explain that later because the test won't really explain it well enough. Okay, so the next thing aside from the front and back tool is the position tool. Okay, to position your test, let me delete the boy. I would like to use the bigger ones. Okay, this large test. So the next thing we have is relate the position, actually, to position your tool well. Okay, when I talked about alignment, so this is to position your tool to the right position you want it to be. Okay, you can decide to make it faster by increasing this volume. You see it moving faster. You can decide to make it slower. You see it moving very, very slow. Okay, to position your tool. When you're done, you click on the mark button. If you want to undo what you've done, you click on the cancel. Let's click on cancel and see what happens. You can see it's cancelled all what you just did. Whereas if I position it and click mark, it stayed where it should be. Okay, now relative position is to position it at the extreme end or at the center of the design canvas. Okay, when I click on this, you see it move at the extreme left hand to the left end, at the extreme right hand, at the extreme up, down, center, then middle. So you can see that's what that is for. The same thing, mark or cancel. So I click mark, that's what we want. Now the size, you can increase the size of your fonts, okay, of your typeface, of your typography actually. So you can see us increasing it. When you're done increasing it or reducing it to the size you want, you click on the mark also. Now aside from size, the next thing we have is padding. Okay, we can move it to the left padding or to the right padding, depending on what you want. Okay, most graphic designers do not use this actually. So when you're done with the padding, most times if you want to undo what you've done on Pixellab, you can click on this one here. Okay, when you click on it, you see it goes back to normal. Okay, then click on OK. I don't need that padding actually, so most times we won't even be making use of it when we go into design projects. Okay, when we go into design projects, you will get better understanding of all these tools. Okay, you will notice that most of the times we don't make use of the padding. So the next thing is color, mostly used. Okay, it's one of the design elements, so it's very essential. You select your color. When you're done selecting, you click OK. Then after the color, we can see texture. I'll explain what that is later, because most of the time texture is being applied with objects. When I say objects, I'm talking of images, shapes, stickers, etc. We'll be talking about objects later on, because this second one, after the A, the second box there is the object tool. Later we'll be explaining what the object tool is all about. So that's that. The texture majorly works for objects, although sometimes we also design and make use texture in our test, but I'll explain what texture is all about when we get to that place. Now opacity, like the word implies this, you can see it reduces. The opacity reduces, and here you increase the opacity. You won't see it well when it is being reduced. Okay, let me increase it. Now that's all. Okay, rotate, you can rotate it to any degree, either to the left or to the right, whichever degree you want. If you want to cancel what you've done, you click on this circle back. Okay, or if you love what you did, then you click on mark. Okay, so I don't want it, so I'm clicking on this. All right, mask. Okay, mask, just like the word implies, mask is more like hiding a particular part. Okay, see, if you move this, it's actually editable depending on how you want to position these things. It's editable. I'll be explaining that. Okay, sorry, when we'll do some design projects that we involve masking too, which of course I will explain better, okay, on my graphic design course. Okay, it's my graphic design course, how to make use of this tool. Okay, this tool, it's very important, majorly in logo designs. Okay, I'll be explaining that better. All right, so masking, you can see it's just hide. You can position it well, maybe to the top, to the down, to hide a particular portion. Okay, so let me cancel that. We don't need that for now. Okay, so outside the marks, the next thing is the fonts. Very important also in graphic design. Now Pixellab comes with an inbuilt font. Whichever one you want, you can just click on them, then click OK. You are good to go. But still in fonts, okay, there's an option which says my fonts. You can see I have a lot of fonts, so much. Okay, I haven't counted them, but the last time I brought in some fonts to my Pixellab, actually it were up to 2,000 plus, close to 3,000, of which by now I should have up to 5,000 fonts. Okay, so although I'm not boasting that I have fonts, because most of the time, even having all these fonts does not really, you don't really need them, because most of the times you still need to go online to get, not download fonts. I just need to know the fonts that is in use, and when I search for it here, most of the times I used to have the fonts on my phone, so I do have them. Okay, so most of the time I don't download. Most of the times I just go to check the name of a particular font, then search for it here. Okay, let me not explain too much about that. So you have your recent, also the ones you recently used. Like you can see, most of the fonts I recently used, I love to use, they are here. So those are that. So when you select any font you want, let's say the best, okay, let's say this one, the Babasenu regular. Okay, when you're done selecting, just click on the OK, then you see it having the fonts. I think the mask 2 is still working here. Let me cancel that. Okay, off, then OK. So the next thing is style, like the word implied. Okay, you can style your work. That's bolden it, to make it italics, and although, or to underline it. I just listed them how they have been arranged. Okay, the first thing is bold. If I click on it, you see the word coming out bolded. Okay, more bolded. The next thing is italics. You can see them sliding to a particular position. Then the last one is underline. You see them underline. When you're done doing all this, if you don't like what you've done, if you want to undo them, you click on the next button, okay, where you see T that is cancelled. Okay, when you click on that, you undo all that you've done. So that's what this is for. When you're done editing what you want to do, maybe underlining or bolding it, you click on OK. So the next thing is curve. Okay, the curve, you can curve your work. You can see it's trying to form circle. So that's the curve. That's what it's used for. Let me undo that, because I don't need that for now. Okay, all right, so I'm trying to, yeah, so after the curve, the next thing is background. So you can make your text have a background, coloring the background. When you're done, you click on the mark button. Okay, for now let me off this to explain further. The next thing is align. Okay, alignment, just like how I think I should have explained earlier. Okay, that you can either align your work to the left, to the center, or to the right. Okay, you can see them moving depending on where you position them. So that is alignment. You click OK. Then the next thing there is spacing. You can see them having spaces. The space can either be for the letters or for the words. Okay, you determine space you want to leave between them. Sometimes, okay, that's that. Let's say you are good with this. Then this one is the line spacing. I mean the space between the up and the down, the vertical spacing, more like that. So you can decide to increase the spaces between them, or you reduce it, okay, depending on what you want. So if you are done, you click on the mark button. So that's that. Now the next thing is stroke. You can decide to add a stroke to your shape. You can see when I had, let me increase the size for us to see what I'm talking about. So you can see it's having something like a line surrounding the text. So that's what the stroke is for. Okay, that's the stroke button. Let me off what I just did. Okay, from where we stopped, I just cancelled the stroke. The next thing after stroke is inner shadow. You can decide to add an inner shadow to your font, to what you added. You can see the shadow is now inward, not external. Okay, there is shadow and inner shadow, they are different. Okay, this is shadow. Let me cancel this. I think I skipped shadow. Now shadow, you can decide to add shadow. Most of the times we make use of black color and reduce the opacity at times. Okay, so that's you can decide to blur the radius, then position them either to the X or to the Y axis. Okay, you can see the shadow moving. Okay, I'll off that, I don't need them. The next thing is emboss. Okay, it makes your text to look a bit like a 3D. Okay, depending on how you want it. You're done. When we'll go into design projects, I'll explain further for design project that will require this too. Not usually popularly used, just at times. Okay, it's rarely used. All right, now the next thing is the perspectives. Okay, it's perspective. Let me reduce the size of this first before I explain what the perspective is all about. The size should be reduced. Okay, now going back to perspective. Where are we? Where is you? Where are you? Don't mind my grammar. All right, so the next thing is the perspective. You can decide to position it, the perspective, to look different. Then when you click OK, you see them moving to that direction you want it to move. So that's perspective. Okay, I don't need that, so I'll be cancelling that. Where are you? Off, get out. Okay, now the next thing we have is 3D rotate. This one is different from the rotate. The rotate we first talked about was just like rotating like a circle, but this one, you see it rotates like this, not even circle, or to the left. Okay, so different from the one that is rotating to form a circle, to form a circumference rather. So that's not, this one is different. This is a 3D rotate. This third one is 3D test. It makes your test to have a 3D shape, okay? It will look like a 3D stuff. Alright, so where is that again? So you can decide to increase the depth. You can see the depth of your, so that's that. I'll be explaining that when we have further with design projects. Okay, now the next thing is shadow. A shadow just come down, a 3D shadow. Most times is when you have 3D tests, this works. Then the last one, reflection. You see the reflection of your tests coming down. You can decide to move it further down or closer. Okay, so that's that. Let me off this. So the next thing we have after the A icon is something like a box, okay, of which we call the the object 2. Object 2, that is what we call it. So sorry for that. So because we don't need the test, we are not dealing with the test tool, I'm deleting this. Now using the object 2, when you click on it, you have options. So like I earlier said, objects are composed of either stickers, the images. You can see that import means you have to import something from your gallery, which of course it should be an image or majorly image. Okay, the next thing is draw. You can decide to draw on your screen. Shapes, bezier tool. Okay, at times, okay, in logo design it's popularly used. You can decide to draw. After drawing on your book, you can now bring it out on this screen with the bezier tool and this arrow. So all these things are they are objects. Okay, now the first thing is the sticker. The sticker, when you click on it, you see stickers. Okay, Pixellab comes with some inbuilt stickers, okay, of which I won't say they are useless because some people use them, but to me it's useless. So you can decide to choose anyone and make use of it. Okay, so most of the times I don't even look at this one at all, so I don't need it, so I'm cancelling it. But if you need it, you can make use of them. You can see cake, maybe if you are designing a birthday design, I don't know, you might make use of them, then select. So I'm cancelling that. The next thing is imports. You can decide to import from your gallery. Okay, bringing in an image. I just clicked on that, it's referring me to my gallery now, to my, okay, so when it comes up, I'll just click on any one of the image. So here I am. Let me just click on, let me click on this. Okay, it will come up. Then this is how it comes up. Now when you see something like this, when you import an image from your gallery, you can decide to choose either of this. Okay, is it a square you want, is it this, is it this, is it this? If you don't want it, if you want to crop yourself, you cancel this lock. Yeah, click on the lock. When you cancel the lock, you can see you now decide to choose a particular point, maybe a particular part of the, okay, but then I want to import everything, so I'm clicking on the square. Okay, so click on the mark button. You've bring in whatever you want to bring in. So that is that. Now this is a tool. This is a tool. As you can see, when the tool is now brought in, you can see option coming up. Okay, just like the test tool. If you not click on it, it won't show the option for you to edit. Okay, but now when you click on the test, on the tool, sorry, on the object, you can see you can now select anything you want to edit. Okay, now the first thing is delete. I just deleted it, and the next thing I did was to undo. If you remember, if you are going through, if you are with me, you should know what I clicked. Okay, the undo icon that I earlier explained. The second thing is crop. Okay, you can decide to go back to where you were, then crop a particular part. Okay, so that's for the crop. This is rotate. Okay, so that is that. Alright, when you are done, you click on the mark button. So that's the crop. The second one is copy. You can see it's copied. They are now 2 on the screen. Let me remove one, delete, then bring in, keep one. Okay, that's copy. The next thing is to the front and to the back. Okay, now I will now explain what to the front and to the back is all about. Let me copy it first. Copy. Now see this one that I clicked on, it was at the front. When you click to the back, it moves to the back. When you click to the front, it comes back to the front. So that is what it is. Okay, that is what, for that test, well, I say I will explain later, that is what it means. Okay, you can see it coming to the front and to the back. Okay, let me delete it now because we don't need it. Now the next thing after front and back is the position. Like earlier I explained, you can position it faster or slower, okay, depending on how you increase the volume of this. Okay, so when you're done, you click on OK. The next thing is relative position, just the same way, to the extreme end, to the extreme end, to the extreme end, to the extreme end, or to the center. Okay, so that's that. Okay, relative position. Size, you can reduce the size. And also when you off this button, it means you want to edit your reduction. It's either you reduce the width or reduce the width on what you want, or you the height, increase the height or reduce the height. Okay, now depending on what you want, that is when you off this. But when you on it, both the width and the height increases together. Okay, so that's that. Let me cancel that. I don't want to disfigure the image. Now the next thing is color. When you click on this, you see the entire thing in your page of what you imported just become colored. Okay, now you can decide to click on any of this color to choose the color you want. Okay, so that's for color. Let me cancel that because what is on the screen is beautiful than just coloring it to be blank. Okay, the next thing now is texture. I think I will explain this texture with a shape. Let me hide this. Okay, now how did I bring up that thing that I want to use to hide? Now the first thing was to click on this, then after you click on this, it shows something will pop up. Okay, let me cancel this. Now you see I clicked on it. Now you see an eye. When you click on that eye, it hides. It's still there, but you won't see it. Okay, that's the hide button. Okay, so let me hide it. Now to explain this texture, I need to bring in a shape. Now bringing in a shape, click outside. Okay, you can see bringing in a shape now is to, and you can see the shape option there also. I'll also show you another way of bringing in shape later. So selecting the shape. Now when you click on the shape, I am stop to bring in a shape. The next thing, so this is the shape. Now when you've clicked on that shape option, now there's something else I would like to explain in this part. Select the kind of shape you want by clicking on this small arrow here by the side there. Okay, now let me click on that. When you click on that, you can see different shapes coming up. Okay, from these shapes you can decide to choose. Let me choose circle. Okay, I choose circle. Now moving, when you scroll down, you can see opacity that I earlier explained. You can reduce the opacity of the color or the opacity of the shape. If you put it to 0, you won't see it, but it's still there. Okay, let's say 100. Now the next thing, you see color. Different colors option are there. Now let me choose this. Now the next thing is stroke. This is stroke. You can see a black stroke around it. Now you can also decide to choose the opacity of your stroke to be reduced, and also the color of your stroke. You can choose a color for the stroke. Let me say white. Alright, so now, okay, that's that. The blur radius also for your stroke to make it look blur. Okay, so that's that. I just explained all that is there. When you're done with your editing, say okay, this is what I want, then you click on the okay, the mark button. Now this is our test object 2, like I earlier said. Okay, now you can see options. We already explained what the delete can do. The crop, you can see we can decide to crop a particular portion. So that's that. We already explained what crop can do. The front, the back, we understand when you have 2 or more things on your design canvas, you can decide to move one to the front, one to the back. Okay, position, we explain what position is, relative position. The size also can be increased or reduced. Okay, so we already explained all this. The color can be changed. Texture, which made me to bring in the shape initially. So when clicking on texture, I just click on that. You can see gallery. Now texture is to add a particular thing to that your image. At times you see some birthday design that the image, the person image is in the circle. Okay, this is how they bring it in. Okay, usually with this option, usually with texture. Let me click on this. You will see the image of this design, actually a particular portion of it will just be in the shape. Okay, let's see. Okay, you can see what I'm saying. So that is what your texture is all about. So we just explain what texture can do. The next thing after texture is the opacity. You can reduce the opacity or increase it. So that's that. The next thing, this color filter, will be explaining that later on, because it's when we are doing a design project that requires that. It's hardly used, I mean rarely used. I'll explain what that is for later. Okay, now stroke, like we earlier said, you know what stroke is. You can also add stroke from here instead of from that part. When you are bringing the circle, you can also add stroke. Okay, Pixellab, there are many things that are being repeated. Okay, many places, even this your delete, and there are other places I'll still show you to delete. Okay, so you can decide to choose different method of doing things. Okay, still with Pixellab. Now the erase, you can decide to erase a particular portion. Now the first option there is the first circle. You can increase your pen size and see me erasing. You can see what I just did. Now if you are done erasing, okay, you can decide to zoom by clicking on that zoom icon to erase a particular part that you think is very small. When you zoom it well, you'll be able to erase it well. Okay, then when you're done, you can undo. You can see the undo icon still the same here. Then when you're done, you click on OK. But since I don't want to erase, I think I should undo what I did and OK. So the next thing is the mask. Like I earlier explained, when you on this, you see it hide. Okay, so it is hidden. I already explained what this can do. That's to hide a particular portion. So the next thing is erase color. You choose a particular part of the image with this, then on it's to erase a particular part of the image. Okay, let me say I'm coming. Okay, from where we stopped, now I said this is to erase. Let me off that first and cancel this, the texture I added. I don't need it. Let me delete it. Okay, now going back, you can see, okay, the white stroke was the first one we added, the second was that second. Let me cancel the second stroke. Okay, the way we add that. Alright, so the next thing was, where were we? Okay, I want to cancel the second stroke. Cancel. Okay, now to erase the color, now you can decide to choose a particular color to erase with these two. When you click on that, you on it, then pick. That's a color picker. Then click on OK. You can see the yellow just disappeared. If I want to click on the white, then I will click on this picker also, the same color picker. Let me cancel, so I'll show us what the color picker is. It is this one. Okay, this particular one that have something like a pencil. Okay, so that's the color picker. When you pick it, then choose a particular part you want to erase. Mostly is with, at times some image might have more than one color, so you can decide to erase a particular color, so it erase that color. So that's that for that erase color. So you've erased the yellow. Now rotate. We already explained what that is. You can see it's rotating like a circle. Okay, just like the test, it will be different from the 3D rotates. Okay, so you should know. Now this 3D rotate, see how it's moving to the X different. Okay, so that's that. Let me undo that. Okay, now 3D shape, you can see it's having a 3D stuff. You can see the depth increased because I blur it, so it will look a bit blur. Alright, so the next thing is perspective. Like I earlier explained, you will see the perspective of the circle shape, it's changed. Alright, I'll be explaining when we do more designs, we'll get better understanding on that. So that's perspective. Shadow, you can add shadow to your image. Okay, you can see it's having a shadow. You can decide to move the shadow to the left, to the down, to up or down. So that is shadow. Alright, so let me off that. Then the next thing is 3D shadow. Abby, was that 3D shadow? Sorry, inner shadow. That's what it was. Inner shadow. You see the shadow comes inward. It comes inside the shape. Let me reduce it. You can see it's inside, it's not outside. It's different from the normal shadow. The normal shadow is more like outside shadow. Okay, this one is an inner shadow. Okay, then the last thing, the emboss tool. Okay, also to make your shape, your stuff to look a bit like a 3D. Okay, I think the shape is too slim for you to see better, but it will have that 3D feeling. So that's that. Let me cancel this. Alright, so okay, so now we are done with the object tool. Now the next stuff we can see here, the next icon, the third one or the fourth, I think, that we can see here, okay, is the background tool. Okay, to edit your background. When I click on it, you can see the option it gave. You can either choose a color for your background. Okay, let's say I colored it this, I colored it, okay, whichever color. So you can see our background having a color. Now the next thing is transparent. When you click on it, when you save this image, now you will see the background transparent. Only this circle will be showing and the background will be transparent. So that's for the transparent. Let me color it back. Okay, so the next thing is size, your image size. That your design canvas, which I call the Pixellab canvas. You can decide to the size of the image should be increased or reduced. Now for example, okay, from here you can choose, okay, either square, profile picture, etc. They are there, but there are some that are not there. Okay, some you have to put yourself. Okay, like for example in Pixellab carousel designs, okay, we have, it comes in 1080 by 1350. Okay, any carousel design you see on Instagram, this is the image size they use. So okay, as we continue to move on, should get better understanding. There are other sizes of recommendation also. Now the next thing is crop. Okay, the crop icon is not working, it only works for some things. Now the next thing is image. You can decide to make an image your background. When you click on it, it directs you to okay, some images just like those ones that we saw earlier, okay, as our background. Let me cancel that, I don't need it. Now the next thing is from gallery. Now you can decide to use image from your gallery, okay, as your background. When you click on that, it will redirect you just like what we did earlier on. Let me go back. Okay, just like what we did earlier on, when we bring an image, okay, but this time around the image will not be moving, it will be your background. Okay, you won't be able to move it. The image will just be like that is your background. Okay, the size of the image will be the size of your background. everything about the image will just be like your background. Okay, so that's what that is. And also from camera, it will be like you are snapping directly to make what you snapped to be your background, to be your image background. Okay, so that's that for the background too. Okay, that's that for the background too. And the last thing, you can see some things you can decide to edit your image, the background, still with Pixellab. You can add noise. Okay, still with Pixellab. All these things are just editing too. So there are many other things, your contrast. So that's for editing. Okay, that's for editing. Maybe when you are done designing, you can just say, okay, let me edit my work now. Okay, so that's that. Okay, let me go back to our usual canvas. Okay, so back to defaults. Okay, now I think I'm done with everything we can see down here. Now the next thing is to talk on everything that is up here. So we'll dive into that. The first thing we can see up there is this, the plus. Okay, now the plus, explaining what the plus is. The plus, we've already explained what it is. That's why I say in Pixellab most of the things are repeated. You will see will be a bit faster than usual. Okay, now the plus, when you click on the plus, you can see test. Instead of coming to this test to add your test, you can decide to add your test automatically from here. You can see add test, it's already added. Okay, now you can see down here also, you can see delete, and here the test icon. Now the first one, the delete, okay, like we earlier explained, is to delete it. When I click on it, you can see it's bring an option, delete the selected objects. Okay, now it is deleted. Now let me undo that, like what we earlier explained, by clicking on this. Okay, so I just click on it to undo it. Now the first one there, that image of a pen, is to tell you that you want to edit it. Okay, when I click on it, it brings in some option, just like your test 2 options. Okay, the same thing. The first T is to change the text. Let's click on that. You can see you can change it. Okay, when you are done changing, you right click on OK. The next thing is copy. This is copy icon to copy the text. You can see it's now. Let me move one away from there so you can see it's 2. Now the next thing is the size. You can increase or reduce the size just from up here. Everything can still be done from down here, but you can see the same thing repeating itself up. That was what I was saying earlier on. Now rotate, the same rotate option. Okay, Pixellab, almost everything is just being repeated. Okay, the same place where I clicked, relative position, you can see it's relatively positioned to the left, down, center, etc. So it's just for you to decide where you think is more convenient for you. Okay, to choose to use your edit tool. Okay, now the next thing is copy to the front or to the back. Okay, now for text or an image, you can decide to put it to the front, or you can decide to put it, okay, that I just deleted it, or to the back. So that's that for all of this on there. Also color is also there, you can color your text also. So that's that. Now the next thing in the plus icon is current date. It's just like adding a test, but the test you're now adding is a test with current date. You know, most of the time if we click on this test, it will give us something writing new test. But this time around, what it will bring up is the current date. Okay, when I click on it, you can see the current today's date. That's that. Let me delete that. Okay, so the next thing is stickers, just like the same stickers that we earlier showed that time that I explained. Okay, from your object to. Okay, now the next thing from the plus button is shapes. You can bring in shape from here also. I already explained how I brought all this up, how I choose circle, your stroke, the coloring. We already understand. You can see it's just repeated, opacity reducing. Okay, we already understand all that. The next thing is draw. You can use to draw. Okay, when you scroll down, you can choose the color of your pen, the pen size. You must first edit, choose what you want from here first before you now draw it. Okay, now if I now reduce the pen size, okay, and I do all the editing here first. Now if I draw it, that's when the option comes out. You can see it's now slim. Alright, so that's that. I cancelled that. Let me also delete this shape. Okay, so from the plus also, you can see from gallery also, you can also choose from bring something from your gallery from here, so you can see them repeating themselves. Alright, so the next thing we can see there is a save icon. Okay, it's a save icon to save your work. Hey, wait. Okay, I said the next thing we can see up there is a save icon up here. The next one is the save icon. Okay, so clicking on that, you either save as projects or as image. When you save as image, it's saved in your gallery. When you save as project, it's for you to now come back to work on it, just like what I earlier explained in the beginning. From here, my project, okay, when you save as project, it will now be saved in my projects. All right, so that's when you're done designing. That's when you make to save, or to save as project. The save as project is for you to come back and design later. For example, at times you might just decide to, okay, let me design small, later I'll come back and continue. Okay, that's for that. The next thing here is the share icon. Okay, this share icon, it's also used to save to image. Okay, save as image. See, let me click on it. You can see the option of save to gallery or share. Okay, you can also save to your gallery from that option. Okay, the next thing is the quotes, like I earlier explained at the beginning. When I click on that, you can see the quotes coming up again. So we already explained that. The next thing, now I'll be coming down to this part. Okay, the undo, we already explained that. Now the next one is zoom. Okay, you can zoom your work. At first you click on it. After clicking on it, then you use maybe 2 fingers to try to zoom the screen. We know how to zoom things now. When you view someone's status or so, the way you used to zoom them. Okay, maybe when you have a picture on your phone, you can zoom it just the same way you are zooming them. That's how I'm also zooming this, by using 2 fingers to pull something closer. Okay, that's for the zoom icon. The next thing is the ruler. I call it the ruler icon. Anybody can call it anything. Some people say the alignment icon or the ruler. Okay, when I click on it, you can see a line coming up. Okay, we make use of this to make our work uniform. Okay, to make our work uniform. Now, for example, we can edit this ruling by clicking on this. When you click on that, okay, when you click on that, let me click on it. You can see option coming up. The first thing is, okay, yeah, you can decide the number of horizontal. Let's say 30 by 30. You can see it coming up 30, a whole 30. Okay, now the next thing is, this one is to position something, a particular one, just like the position 2. Let's cancel that. The first thing is to touch a particular one of the rule. Okay, touch it. When you touch it, then you click on that next one. Now you can position either to the extreme end or to a particular value. Okay, a particular percentage, let's say to 90. Okay, when you're done, you leave it. You can see it move to that 90% of the design canvas. Okay, the next thing is to cancel that rule. What you touched, you cancel. Let's see, I click on it again, the next one that was touched is cancelled. You can see cancelled. So that is for the cancel. The next one is hard. You can see harden. Okay, it's added another rule, hard. So this one is to cancel. Okay, sorry, add a vertical. While this one is to add horizontal. So that's that. When you're done with your editing, you click on it again. You click on that same thing that we just click on it again. Then it comes back to normal. When you want to hide all this ruling, okay, most of the times we don't want to see it on our face. Okay, on our design canvas, we just click on that part the arrow is touching now. Then it goes back to normal. Okay. So the next thing I'll be explaining is on this icon, this one. Okay, now when you click on that, you see something coming up. It's pop. Now it shows all the things that are on your design canvas. You can see on our design canvas here, we just have 2 things. Okay, this new and this. So those are the 2 things that are here. Okay, now it has an option. The first thing is to lock. Locking implies when I lock it, let's click on this back. I'm touching the screen, I'm trying to move it, it's not moving. You can see you've locked it. Whereas if I unlock it, see, as I'm moving, it's just moving anyhow. It's just moving because it's unlocked. Whereas if I locked it, it won't move. Let me lock the 2. The next option there, you see I, to hide it. Okay, either to hide or to unhide them. Let's hide one and leave one. You can see the second one is hidden. You can't see it. The next thing is the delete. You know what delete is, the one down here. I just deleted the 2 of them. Now I undo them back. Okay, so that's the delete. Now the one that is at the top right corner, which has something like a pen, okay, is the same thing as, okay, let me show you something. This icon, this same icon is the same thing as this one here that we talked about. Okay, it's the same thing. You see when we click on it, the same thing came up, the same thing. So we already explained what it is. You can decide to edit that too that you touch, that text. When I click on it, so I'm editing, cancel. So that's that. We already explained everything. Now the last thing I'll be explaining here is this particular part. Okay, we're almost done. Sorry for your time. I hope you're getting something. So that part now, I just clicked on it now.
Now we can see an option, it says image from gallery. We already explained what all this is. Okay, we already explained what they are. Wait, so sorry Jerry. So now where we were, what to now, I just click on this. Now when I click on it, that particular part, so I'm coming. Okay, from where we stopped, now the last part we'll be talking about is this. Okay, so I'll be clicking on that now. Alright, I just click on it. You can see what it says, use image from gallery. The same thing as when you import image from gallery. When we click at this plus icon here, it says from gallery. It's the same as this one that says use image from gallery. It's the same thing. Now the next thing is full screen. When you are done designing, or when you are designing, you can decide to just see how the full screen will look. Okay, by clicking on that, you can see this is how the full screen will look. It will look just like in your phone. Okay, when you're done with the full screen, looking at how it will look, now you will now click on this back to bring you back to where you were. Alright, so let's click on that. Alright, so that's for that. The next thing after the full screen is use image from camera. The same thing as what I mean, that's from your camera when you snap directly and brings it to Pixellab directly. Okay, export image. Image size, you can reduce the size of the image. Okay, your design canvas, just like I earlier explained. You can see almost the same thing repeating itself. Tutorials, this one will direct you to YouTube. Okay, to YouTube, they'll just teach you some interface, some things about Pixellab. Remove ads. Okay, when you on your data, ad can come in, you can remove them from here. Recover, auto save. Alright, yeah, things that you've done recently. Okay, Pixellab tends to auto save them. If you mistakenly, maybe you'd not save them, when you come back to Pixellab, you can recover them. When you click on that, you can see them. Yeah, so let me click on anyone. So okay, now you can see it was something we've done about new test, and also so it's recovered what we've done. Alright, so it's recover, auto save. PLP files, okay, they are editable files on Pixellab. Okay, I'll explain what that is maybe later. Okay, let's click on one and import a particular PLP file. When you click that, you can see PLP, the first box here, up PLP. Now these things that are down here, the test effects, PLP, anything that has PLP at the back are PLP files. Let me open one of them. Let's say I open this special sales, open and add. Okay, then when you are done with that, you go back. Okay, then you see it, this is a PLP file. Okay, I have many of them in my Pixel graphic design pack. Okay, of which they are editable. You can edit them clicking on what you want to edit. Change the text. Before it was Josh Medicare, you can decide to change it to Oye Pixels. Okay, so you see what you just click, changing to Oye Pixels. Look at it down here. So that's that. You can edit it to any name you want. Let me go back to our default tool that we are talking about. So that's the PLP file. The next thing is about, just talking about the inventor, the person that invented the app. Okay, I think just to accredit the person. Exists to leave this page. I think we are done, so I'll be existing now. Okay, alright, so we just exist the page. So I think we are done with everything on Pixellab interface. So the next time we'll be meeting, we'll be designing some things. Okay, we'll be making graphic, we'll be going into the main thing why we are here. Alright, so thank you for your time. I remain your instructor, Oye Abiodun. Thank you, bye.